Need some new Modern Horizons cards? Well, you can pre-order them from our sponsor Card Kingdom by heading over to cardkingdom.com. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for our final daily dose of Modern Horizons 2 spoilers. So we just got the full spoiler a few minutes ago, and honestly, there's not a ton of stuff to talk about today. We got 2 rares, some interesting lower rarity stuff, but I want to do a video for 2 reasons. One is to go over the last few cards, and we do have one that is pretty sweet. Secondly, I want to let you know what's coming up in the future, which is still a ton of Modern Horizons 2 stuff. So even though we're wrapping up spoiler season today, we're going to have over the next weeks and months top 10 videos for various formats, review articles starting today on the website. We will have streams, we will have videos showing off all the sweet new cards and decks. So even though spoiler season is coming to an end, we're not done with Modern Horizons 2. Not by far. This is one of my favorite sets, maybe my single favorite set in Magic history, and there's about a million decks that I want to build. So stay tuned for all of that in the near future. Also, if you want to see the full spoiler, sortable, filterable, all that stuff, head over to mtgpreviews.com where you can find all your spoilers. But anyway, with that out of the way, let's talk our last few sweet new Modern Horizons 2 cards. And first up today, we have Resurgent Belief, our last no mana cost suspend sorcery. This is our white one, and it is a sorcery that is essentially replenish. When it resolves, you return all enchantments from your graveyard to the battlefield. Of course, since it's a no mana cost card, you can't actually cast it, but you can suspend it for 2 turns for 1 and a white, and that's actually super appealing. This is one of the more aggressive suspend cards we've seen. Suspend 2 is not that long of an amount of time, unlike every other card in this cycle we've talked about, where our main focus has been how do you cheat it into play. This is one that I think you can, at least in some decks, just suspend. Like, let's say you suspend this on turn 2, turn 3, take off a counter, turn 4, you're going to get this card. That's not that long of an amount of time to wait. So, of course, the same shenanigans still work. You still can cheat it into play with As Foretold's Electro Dominances, Cascade effects, but I don't think you necessarily need to do that. So what do you do with Resurgent Belief? And I think there's maybe 3 different possibilities. One is, this could enable some sort of enchantment reanimator deck. Like, there are some really busted enchantments. The best is Omniscience. Omniscience is a card that once you get on the battlefield, it feels like you just can win the game. You should be able to win the game when you can cast all the cards from your hand for free. Resurgent Belief is a really cheap and fast way that you can get an Omniscience in the battlefield. Get it in the graveyard, get it back, proceed to win the game somehow. There's also big curses, Overwhelming Splendor strong, Cruel Reality strong. So maybe we can have some sort of like big enchantment reanimator style deck in Modern. So that is possibility 1. Possibility 2 is this could be an interesting sideboard card for Enchantress. We've talked through spoiler season about how there's so many new pieces for Enchantress. Maybe Enchantress will actually be a thing in Modern. Well, one of the problems is there are enchantment wraths, and if your opponent can blow up all your enchantments, you're going to have a bad go of it if you're playing Enchantress. Well, Resurgent Belief is a card that can just get them all back onto the battlefield, which does offer a lot of value. It also has a ton of commander potential. I think because you only have to suspend for 2 turns, I think it's fast enough that you can play this without building around it. Replenish is really old, it's really expensive. Resurgent Belief is worse than Replenish, because Replenish is just 4 mana to do it right away, but still, Resurgent Belief is good enough that if you're looking for a budget style Replenish for Tetsuva, for Zur, for Gen, for Sithis, this is going to be absolutely essential for your deck. This is the budget Replenish. If you don't want to spend reserve list prices, this will still get the job done. It'll still get back your enchantments when your opponent wraths the board. It'll still give you those value-y graveyardy loops. So Resurgent Belief card is actually really sweet. I was wondering how Wizards was going to make the white suspend card. I was expecting it to be really bad, but they actually kind of made it really good, and because it only has to suspend for 2, this is the one that you don't actually have to worry too much about the As Foretold Cascade shenanigans. You can just play this fairly, and it's a really powerful effect. So, sweet new, no mana cost sorcery, coming soon in MH2. We also got Nyxbloom Paragon. So, Nyxbloom Paragon, 6 mana, 4/6, enchantment creature soldier. Whenever you gain life, put that many +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. Do this only once each turn. So Nyxbloom Paragon, good in Soul Sisters? I mean, Soul Sisters is the kind of deck that would want to take advantage of this. Like, imagine cracking a Martyr of Sands and gaining 9 life or 12 life with this on the battlefield. All of your creatures are going to be massive. You're going to win the game. The problem is, it's 6 mana. And in all honesty, 6 mana is just way too much for this effect to show up in Soul Sisters or in any other Modern deck for that matter. I just think it costs too much. There are, like, shenanigans where this is really powerful. Weather the Storm, a Ketra's Last Mercy, doubling your life total with Beacon of Immortality. Resetting your life total does count as life gain. The difference between where you're at and where you go to. So that does count as life gain. That does trigger Nyxbloom Paragon. Maybe we could build like a funny against the odds deck where like, Nyxbloom Paragon, Beacon of Immortality, everything gets 20 +1/+1 counters, kill you. But really, I think it's just too slow for Modern. On the other hand, it is exactly the right speed for life gain based commander decks where this should be an excellent finisher. Lisa, Aloro, Heliod, Karlov, Lethiel, any life gain based deck, I feel like this is at worst in the conversation for your deck, and it could even end up just a life gain staple, where this is a card that can come down, you gain some life, and just close out the game really, really quickly. So it does serve a purpose, but to me, this certainly feels like a card that's designed more for Commander than it is for Modern play, because 6 mana is just a lot for Modern, even if it is really powerful if you can untap with it in the right deck. In the world of lower rarity cards, and there are a ton that got previewed today, see them all, MTGPreviews.com. Maybe the most exciting is Break the Ice. Break the Ice, 2-mana sorcery, destroy target land that is snow or could produce colorless. Overload for 6. So this is a snow/colorless version of Sinkhole that can upgrade into a 6-mana snow/colorless Armageddon. This card is really powerful. I mean, yes, it is restricted, but this is amazing hate for Tron decks. One of the things about Tron hate is it really needs to be 2 mana to be fast enough. Break the Ice is always going to be fast enough. So if you just want to deal with Tron or Eldrazi Tron, this is going to be a great option. It is also really interesting against snow decks. One of my big complaints about Modern since Modern Horizons 2 came out, and then Keldheim as well, is that there was just no real punishment for playing snow. So we saw a lot of decks playing snow basic lands just for bluff value, essentially, for no real reason. There was not really any reason not to play snow lands, and if there's a chance that you use some bluff value because your opponent thinks maybe you got an Ice Fang Quaddle or something in your deck, it was correct to play them. Well, now thanks to Break the Ice and its power level in its potential is Tron hate, decks are going to think twice before they just jam a bunch of snow lands for no reason. Sure, if you're playing a deck that is snow based and you're trying to turn on your Ice Fang Quaddle, I don't think Break the Ice keeps you from doing this, but it is going to be the safety valve card that's going to mean Hammer Time isn't playing snow covered plains for no apparent reason anymore. So Break the Ice, super sweet card, really excited for this one, never going to complain about Tron getting dunked on, and I mean it's almost a Sinkhole in Modern. We also got Healer's Flock, which isn't really a great card, but it is a funny card. Triple white mana, 3/3 bird, flying in lifelink. So this is 3 Healer's Hawks stapled together, continuing a tradition from Modern Horizons 1, which gave us Llanowar Tribe, which was 3 Llanowar Elves stapled together. It's got me thinking about what would be the worst card you could make using this formula of 3 1-drop stapled together. It might be Alabaster Leech Trio or whatever you would name it, but give me your ideas. If you have some ideas of what the worst card would be that you could make from stapling 3 1-drop creatures together, let me know in the comments, because I think it's actually kind of a funny question. We also got Goblin Anarchomancer. Goblin Anarchomancer, kind of a Baral or a Goblin Electromancer, 2-drop 2 true that says each spell that you cast that's green or red costs 1 less to cast. So this is kind of your Electromancer or Baral for green red storm. Upside is it triggers on any green or red spell, not just instant or sorceries. Downside is it only triggers on green or red spells, and storm decks often want to play some blue spells. We'll have to see how it shakes out, but if green red storm are a thing, Goblin Anarchomancer probably going to be involved. We also got Cabal Initiate. We've been talking through spoiler season about wanting Putrid Imp to support the Madness deck, just 1 mana repeatable discard outlet. Cabal Initiate doesn't actually quite get there. It's 2 mana, but it is a repeatable discard outlet. It turns into a 3/3 once you get Threshold. It could have a role if Madness is a thing. We also got Nested Shambler, which is kind of an exciting card for Pauper. So 1 mana, 1/1 zombie. When it dies, you make X 1/1 tap squirrels, where X was its power. There's already a Pauper deck that uses Bayou Groff in 1-drops that make tokens when it dies, and it even has pump spells like Howl of the Hunger Pack. Nested Shambler, I think, just becomes the new best 1-drop in this deck. The other 1-drops it plays make a token when it dies. Nested Shambler, it's going to do that, and it has potential to make a bunch of tokens if you can pump its power somehow with like Howl of the Hunger Pack. We also got Mind Collapse, another kind of interesting free spell. So 4 mana instant. If it's your turn, you can sacrifice a mountain rather than pay its mana cost, and it deals 5 damage to a creature or player. So because you can only cast it for free on your turn, I don't think you're going to see this as defense for your opponent's combos. Where this could see play, though, is in Blitz-style decks. Blitz-style decks already okay with sacking mountains. They already play Lava Dart. Mind Collapse gives you another free spell to pump your Swift Spears and Soulscar Mage and force through more damage, and it gets a relatively big blocker out of the way. So at least in the sideboard, maybe in the main deck, I think Mind Collapse has a chance. In decks like Blitz, maybe some burn-style shells as well. We also got Terminal Agony, which I really want Madness to be a thing. I would love there to be a real Madness deck in Modern. 4 mana, destroy target creature, but Madness for red and a black. So it's Terminate if you can Madness it. If you're playing a Madness deck, really solid removal spell. Will Madness work out? Oh, I hope so, but we're going to have to wait and see. Finally, we also got Sojourner's Companion, which is Mirror Enforcer plus. So 7 mana 4/4, affinity for artifacts, same as Mirror Enforcer. It's a salamander for some reason rather than a mirror, and it has artifact land cycling of 2. So it's a Mirror Enforcer that you can also use to tutor up it artifact land, put in your hand for 2 mana. This is interesting for multiple reasons. One is it gives you 8 Mirror Enforcers now, so maybe some sort of traditional affinity, play a bunch of artifacts, play a bunch of 4/4s for free, smash you with them deck could work in Modern. It's also a common, which is important for Pauper purposes, where affinity is a deck. Also, it's just a better Mirror Enforcer, so if it turns out the decks don't want 8 Mirror Enforcers, Sojourner's Companion, it's strictly better. It's power creep at its finest. It took 20 years, but Mirror Enforcer finally invalidated. And that brings us to the end of not only our daily spoilers for today, but our daily Modern Horizons 2 spoilers for the whole season. So again, check out the full spoiler, sortable, filterable, over at MTGPreviews.com. Let me know what you think of this set. I said this before, I'll say it one more time. This might be my favorite set that Wizards has ever made. There's about 50 Modern decks I want to build. There's Pauper decks, there's Legacy decks, there's Commander decks. I am unreasonably hyped, and in coming days, we'll have top 10 videos, we'll have streams, we'll have Against Odds, much of brews, tons of gameplay featuring these cards. So keep an eye out for that. Thanks for hanging out, everyone, for this spoiler season. We'll be back with daily spoilers in I think it's 3-ish weeks from now with the D&D set Forgotten Realms. That's the next setup. So I'll see you then for more spoilers. In the meantime, enjoy Modern Horizons 2. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing day, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.